The godfather of Britpop is here. Are you okay with me calling you that? Clint Boon is here.
It's the first, that, but yeah, I'm having it. Thanks, Ben. Nice to be here.
It is nice to see you. Nice to see you. And I guess here's the thing. We were talking about this just before we came on the air.
Yeah.
You were really, Inspiral Carpets were ahead of the curve, right? Because everyone's been talking about reunions and doing all this kind of stuff, but you were doing it in 2023. So you set the bar high again, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of, over the years, we've had a few breaks here and there, but we've remained constant. You know, we've put new music out. Most times we've been back together. We lost Craig, our drummer, as you know, in 2016. He passed away in 2016. So after that, it was over. You know, to me, I was like, that's draw a line under it, that's finished. And I think we all collectively thought that for 4 years, 5 years, and then we suddenly got an email, an invitation to go and play with the Mondays, which would have been spring of 23. And reading that email, it was the first offer that I'd seen in years, since Craig had died. And reading it, it was a Saturday morning, and I think I was still in my underpants, and I ran downstairs with the email, showed it to my wife, said, look, I'm buzzing, I fancy doing it. And she's like, do it. And Graham wanted to do it, Steve wanted to do it, Martin opted out, our bass player. He said, look, I'm not ready for it yet, but by all means, you guys carry on and I'll revisit the idea later on. So, yeah, 2023 is when we did, started this comeback, and it's been magical. It's been, to me, I think probably my favourite chapter that we've ever had.
I love that. When you look out and see those fans who were there, new and old fans, I mean, that is something that as an artist, you can probably never take that for granted, that people are still wanting to show up and see you live.
It's the power of the music. You know, it's like, you know, we're not Harry Styles. We're not great-looking lads who can dance and dress smart. We're a bunch of older guys that started this band in the 80s, 40 years ago. And it's like the music that we wrote back then and over the years still resonates with a mass of people. And the parents, obviously, the teenagers back then are now, they've grown up, they're in the 40s, 50s, they've got kids of their own. So those kids, the new kids, they've grown up listening to the mum and dad rave about the Inspirals and playing This How It Feels and playing Saturn 5 and all these other great songs, Dragging Me Down. And it's like our music, as with Oasis and as with Ashcroft and the Verve, these people have grown up with these songs as a big part of their life. These songs are entwined in these people's life stories,
It's quite remarkable, really. Did part of your instantly recognisable sound with the organ, I mean, how did that develop in the first place? How did you find that? Because that wasn't, at the time, like, music had sort of moved on from that instrument for a while. It'd been there back in the day, in the 1960s. How did you bring that back?
I'll tell you what happened with me was that I was never a musical kid. I grew up obsessed with music, but I never learned to play an instrument. I grew up I was born in 59, so, through the 60s and early 70s, I was crazy about music. When punk happened in 76, that's when I realised that people like me with no musical talent could actually be in a band and could do gigs and could get on top of the pops, And I was seeing bands in Manchester like Joy Division and the Buzzcocks and the Fall, who weren't great musicians, really. That inspired me to start getting into that my path into music, my journey into music. I started buying stuff that made a noise, stuff that made sounds, so little drum machines. And I used to play with 8-track cartridge players out of cars and make because that's a loop of tapes. I used to make like little loops and just anything to make music. And I started collecting keyboards, starting with like a Casio keyboard. And then eventually I found this 1960s Farfisa compact duo, and it's for sale in the back of one of the music papers. And it was a guy in London selling it. I think I got it for 100 quid, 120 quid. And that was the instrument that I had in my collection when I first met the Inspirals. They were already a band.
Yeah.
And I think in 85 they came to me to record a demo tape for them. I had a little studio, a little 4-track cassette-based studio, really low budget. And I recorded a 3-song demo tape for them. I fell in love with the music. And basically, I think I went on holiday a couple of days after and listened to his tape constantly. And when I came back, I said to Graham, who's the guitarist in the band, I think we should try bringing this organ into the Inspirals rehearsal tomorrow night and see how it sounds. And we did. We just wheeled it in, and it was just instantly, it just everything slotted into position, you know.
They're loud, though, aren't they? And I'll tell you the reason I know that they're loud, because we had the Charlatans play live on this show a couple of weeks ago, and we were in the other studio, and Tony, I think the keyboard player, brought his keyboard, playing the Hammond, and it was so loud it dislodged the sprinkler system in the studio, and overnight it flooded the studio, which is why that studio was closed for ages. But they are loud, big old beasts, those things.
Yeah, see, mine's a slightly different kind of instrument, so it's still a keyboard, it's still, you know, very reminiscent of the 1960s, but the Farfisa is even more shrill. You know, it's even more shrill than the Hammond. It's a screaming banshee of a machine, and it's it served us well, and it definitely made us. It gave us a unique sort of sound that the other bands of the time didn't have.
When you were looking back at the summer, and it was an incredible summer for live music, and I don't think, am I right in saying you didn't see any of the Oasis shows?
I've not been to any of the gigs yet, but I've
seen them enough.
I've seen them over. I saw them. I saw Oasis before Noel joined the band when there was the rain. I saw them when Noel's first gig, and then through that career up until Eaton Park, where they pretty much split up at the end. I've not had a chance to see the new gigs yet, but I'm just so chuffed that it's happened, and it's.
Well, it's kicked something off, hasn't it? So whether it's Oasis or whether it's Cast or whether it's Pulp coming back with a great album, and now Radiohead are back doing live shows again, there is something about, and I don't want to call it nostalgia because it's much more than nostalgia, right? It's not just about...
It's art, and it's appreciating art, and it's like, you know, like appreciating the Mona Lisa. That's not nostalgia. It's appreciating a great bit of art in it. And I think, music, recorded music, popular music, rock music, that it's an art, and it's there. You know, we create this stuff, and inadvertently we create something that's going to last forever in a lot of instances, you know.
Can you still enjoy it? Can you still enjoy listening to your back catalogue?
I personally, yes. And I'm proud of it every time I hear it. And it's like your kids. I mean, I wrote that song, I remember writing that song, and I remember what inspired it, and it's like a baby, isn't it? It's like you create that baby, and then, like, now that baby's grown up and it's a 30-odd-year-old adult in the world, and I can't do anything about it. You know, so the football fans are singing every weekend. You know, City are taunting United fans with it, and the Glasgow teams are singing it, and Leeds United use it, and it's beautiful. You create a piece of art, like we were saying before. It's
no longer yours, though, is it?
No longer yours, and it goes off and it has its own story. You know, and that's why I said to me, it's that, you know, part of it's nostalgia, but part of it's art. You're creating these like little nuggets of art, and
it pulls you back as well. Like you say, you know, you weren't doing this for a while, and obviously the passing of a band member is going to want to make you pause and grieve, I think. But actually, the power of the music will always bring you back. And you know what, I kind of knew that Oasis were going to do it at some point, because those songs were too big not to come back to. But what is it about the towns and cities outside of London, particularly sort of late 80s, 90s? There was something in the water that made you make these incredible songs. What is it, Clint?
It's hard to say it without sounding conceited, isn't it? And sounding like it's all about Manchester. But to me, and Manchester, it's a working class city. The people are very warm. There's a real sense of strong community, and that was prevalent in the music scene from the late 80s when we started and started mingling with the others. You know, there was always a great camaraderie between us and the Mondays, and us and James, and us and, you know, the Roses and New Order, and that still remains. And I think for Manchester, I think that community spirit, and that you know, that constant support is what has made it such a prolific music city over the years. You know, right through the years of Elbow and I Am Clute and Doves, you know, they were all helping each other out, and you know, it's just to me, it's the perfect city to be in a band, you know, and I'm so glad I was born in that city in that year and had the journey that I've had, you know.
So dusting the band off and getting ready for a new tour, the December dates are coming. How long does it take you to get sort of match fit again, Clint?
These days, not long, because it's only when if you've had like, I think we had a 9-year break between 95 and 2003. That was hard work, remembering everything after that.
Well, that's longer than the Beatles were together. A 9-year break is longer than the Beatles were together, so that is quite a break.
Yeah, I like learning the songs after that, even the songs that I'd written and played for, you know, all them years, I struggled to...
Wow.
And I actually got, what do they call it, tennis elbow, because I hadn't played, I'd not really played for those years, and then suddenly you're rehearsing every night with the lads, and my elbow started hurting and my fingers were tingling. I had to go and see the doctor. He said, "You've got tennis elbow, you know, repetitive strain." because I'd not played for so long. Nowadays, it's all fairly fresh. Like, you know, we said before, since 23, we've been out quite a lot. And there's going to be a couple of new songs in the set.
Because there's a new album to come.
There's a new album. It's pretty much, it's not mixed yet, but it's in the can. The songs are written and, you know, tracked, as we call it. So yeah, it's a dead exciting time.
When can we expect that?
Next summer.
Okay.
August, I think, is when we're looking at. So there'll be a couple of singles in the lead up to that through, you know.
Just in time for Inspiral Carpets to support Oasis at Knebworth.
Have you heard about that?
Well, there are a fair few rumours kicking around.
Yeah, and I've been quoted in the press today. I'm on social media today. It looks like I'm begging for supports with them, but
hey, I think they would be begging you to support. Is what I think.
It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be a full circle. I mean, referring to the fact, obviously, Noel Gallagher auditioned to be our singer back at the end of '88. And we took him on instead as a roadie and an helper and a, you know, personal assistant for 4 years or so. And we've always stayed in touch with Noel and with Liam and Bonehead and the rest of them. And it'd just be really nice if we could, you know, finish that circle by the Inspirals opening up for Oasis at some point, you know what I mean?
Not only are you a great musician as well, but I am in the company of a great broadcaster too, a medium that was really built for your personality. do you miss radio?
You know what? I listen to radio every single day, and I have my favourite stations and my favourite presenters.
Thanks.
Yeah, and we were talking about Pete Mitchell off air, weren't we?
Yeah.
He was a good friend of mine and a real inspiration as a broadcaster.
Inspiration to me, despite me being a very different broadcaster to Pete. Pete was quite a hero to me.
Yeah, I learned from him because he's an ordinary bloke, you know, and same with John Peel. He was, you know, somebody I came to know over the years, and as a broadcaster, I like the way that his humanness came through as much as his passion for music, you know. So those are my kind of presenters. Do I miss it? I miss elements of it, but I know what hard work it is. Doing a show like yours, it's not just rocking up and having 3 hours of fun. It's the preparation, the transport.
Don't. My wife's listening. She'll think that it's more than that.
It's a great, you know what? It's a great medium, innit? And you know, it's something that
I love this. I get to talk to people whose music means the world to me. I get to sit here and play songs that I'm very lucky enough to love. And I mean, genuinely, you know, I don't think there are too many DJs on radio stations who get to play music that they love. And I get to talk to people like you.
Yeah.
So the December tour is coming. All the details on the Inspiral Carpets website, which is inspiralcarpets.com. Clint Boon, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Ben. It's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.